Give me your hands, show me the door. I cannot stand to wait anymore. Somebody said, be what you be. We could be old and cold and dead on this.
Do we deserve a Community movie?
Yes, I think we do.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think we're talking about different things.
Oh.
I think that we've been bad, and so we deserve a Community movie.
Oh.
You apparently think it would be good if we got a Community movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh.
Why do you think a Community movie would be good?
I think they've had a little time, and I think maybe we can write something more interesting for the characters than what we saw at the very end, and so yeah, I think we could have a good Community movie.
You like Cheers?
Yeah.
How about a Cheers movie?
I'm good.
Yeah, that's me in Community.
Okay.
All right, so Dan Harmon has said recently, he was talking to The Wrap about, I don't know, whatever his
Something.
new, terrible Danny DeVito Antichrist show is going to be.
Oh my God.
And he has said that there is a script, and now
Okay.
they're shopping it around.
Okay.
And various stars like Alison Brie and Joel McHale are the only two stars that would really anchor this thing. Sorry, Gillian Jacobs.
Oh my gosh.
Or Keith David. Or Keith David would be the biggest star in this film if it ever happened.
Yeah.
Apologies to Ken Jeong, who's been in 3 of the highest grossing comedies of all time. Paget Brewster, not pictured. So it seems possible. And I'm like, why? I mean, obviously, Joel McHale
'Cause for the joke.
needs this.
Yeah.
Alison Brie probably doesn't know she needs this, but, she's fine. She's doing stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody else, who cares? Aren't we over Dan Harmon's self-absorbed, I've seen a lot of TV, and I'm sad, and you need to listen to me. Be quiet, woman. I'm telling a joke. Aren't we tired of that? We're
Maybe
tired
a
of
little.
that,
Maybe
right?
a little bit.
Didn't
yeah.
you, when we rewatched Community and got stuck on season 4?
Yeah.
Weren't you feeling like, okay, it was more nostalgia than something that was really vital and like, oh boy, I'm really laughing at this right now.
I mean, before season 4, I thought was great.
It's so aughts.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is very of its time. That's true.
That's when it came out, right?
Yeah. Was it the aughts or the teens? I don't know. I don't remember when it came out.
It was 2009, so
Okay.
technically, but then it continued into the teens.
Yeah. So yes to both of those, I guess. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of over Dan Harmon's shtick, yes, but I think that what was going on before season 4 is 1 through 3 was really funny. So I don't know. I think it could be funny. I don't want to give up on it yet. I guess 6 seasons in a movie is the joke. I kind of want to see it realized.
If there was a commemorative Szechuan sauce connected to the Community movie effort,
Yeah.
would the fans be somebody you'd want to spend a long elevator ride with, or not a long elevator ride with?
Probably not.
I don't know. I think everybody, but like the fans are so old at this point, right? They're probably mellowed out. I just think that look, for something that we have talked a lot about, is in a lot of ways one of the things that propelled, us to, I don't know if this is true. I don't want to lay it all at the feet of Community, but compelled us to sort of like branch out and like get into broadcasting and talking about
Sure.
nostalgic nerd stuff,
Yeah.
which is what we do on this show, the Just Enough Joe podcast. I'm your host, Calvin.
I am Mika Hana. Oh my gosh.
And I mean, like, I don't know. No, this is radio. I got to elucidate better than that. I'm over it.
Okay.
I got to elucidate better than that. Maybe if it had 3 perfect seasons and then really did get canceled, we would still be thinking about this.
Okay.
But it came back and it was a lot worse.
Yes, it was.
And I'm not just talking about season 4, like the last 3 seasons. Not good.
Not great.
Imagine like, hey, a new X-Files movie.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well,
That's how I
it's funny
feel.
that you bring that up because I was talking
And sure,
to...
I can go back and watch Fluke Man and be like, oh, this is pretty good.
Right.
Oh, wow. Dwayne
Right.
Barry. Yeah, great. But like, if I'm going to watch Actually, that was a later season. I did like the Civil War pillow fight one. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a pretty good episode. Of
That was
Community.
season 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I'm going to go back and watch Chicken Fingers or something like that, yeah, great. But come on.
But it's just funny that you bring up the X-Files because I was talking to music guru Tara recently, and she was talking about how the X-Files is one of her, is like her favorite show ever. But there are some terrible episodes in it. And
It's half of my favorite show ever.
Yeah, right. But like...
Actually, it's more than half as bad now.
Yeah.
If I consider season 5 the bad cutoff.
Yeah, but like... She said that there are episodes she just never needs to rewatch.
Sure.
Ever again.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be a fan of something and be like, not all of it is amazing. Okay?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can be a little critical. It's okay.
Well, it's okay. So I think we're still jury out, but we'll probably talk about this in the future if this ever turns out. Something we'll talk about on our show today is that same issue. Do we revisit things? What's the point? Why are we doing it?
Yep.
And to really center that, our review of the first episode of the new HBO series, House of the Dragon.
That's right.
Talking about Hot D today.
Hot diggity D.
Yes. And why we have a hot D, period. We'll also be talking about the news and more than a few properties that probably need to be put out to the big property farm in the sky so they can run and play with other properties.
Yeah, sure.
But instead, they'll be remaking some things. We're talking about the turmoil in the world of Hollywood and streaming services, and especially, of course, the continuing troubles at Warner Brothers slash Discovery.
Yeah.
Or no slash, just Warner Brothers Discovery.
Yeah.
They should get some slash in there.
Would that help them at all?
Have Bear Grylls make out with
my gosh.
The Joker.
Okay.
I feel like they'd get along.
I don't know who the first person is, so I know who
Bear
the Joker
Grylls.
is.
He's the survival. He survives. He eats
I don't know.
the grass in a camel's stomach to
Okay,
survive.
great. I don't know who it is.
It's not getting no sale.
Yeah.
Well, then this isn't going to help. It's too bad because I had a whole long run about how the Joker would actually respect him because he is also a ridiculous person. And
Yes.
The Joker needs a way. I guess I'm doing the bit. The Joker, but it's not going to be funny, and it's your fault. And the Joker needs a way in. The Joker, in pretty much all of his forms, is just the guy who he's annoying because he's right. Not right like he should kill a bunch of people, but he finds your flaw, he finds your insecurity, and he exploits it.
Yeah.
But Bear Grylls, as ridiculous as he is, has zero insecurities. He is completely happy to eat the contents of a camel's stomach.
Sure.
He is completely happy to pretend like it's tough for him to climb in a tree when a cameraman's already in the tree waiting for him. He has no self-awareness at all. And so I think that maybe the Joker would be like, you're all right. I can be myself around you. I can let the walls down. I don't have to do my whole thing. And I got the chattering teeth toy and a big gun and stuff like that. Like, we're just going to go eat some camel stomach contents together.
Ew. Okay.
That's how I feel.
Gross.
All right. So anyway, we're not talking about that today, though.
No.
And also, of course, this is our the end of our show. This is our patron show, our producer week, and we posted a poll to the producers, pulchritudinously, and what it presented. I'll stop.
Lots of peace.
Was a choice between two different movies that are both about the Roman Legion, the Ninth Legion, that both came out within 6 months of each other.
It happens.
You crazy Hollywood.
Yeah.
And by crazy, I mean super derivative.
Yeah.
Both of which were kind of mixed in their reviews, but both gave an interesting spin on the typical swords and, sandals genre. A Gladiator effed everybody up real bad.
Yeah.
And we went through a lot of weird stuff after Gladiator. But the choice was Centurion from 2010 and The Eagle from 2011, which we'll talk a little bit about both later. But the pick that we got was Centurion.
Yes.
And full disclosure with the audience, the vote was split.
It was.
And so we got a Roman drachmi and we flipped it, and it landed Flavinius side up. And so we went with heads.
Yes.
And Centurion in that case. So we'll be
Yes.
talking about that for our feature at the end of the show.
Yes.
I didn't do all that much, and I feel tired.
That's not good.
How do you feel?
I feel a little tired too, but I do have some questions
She's sandbagging us
for you with the Lord of the Rings show coming up next week.
Yeah, we'll be talking about Lord of the Rings next week.
Yeah.
The Rings of Power.
Yes.
We will. I'll work it in organically.
Okay.
So here's a little tease for the audience. We'll be talking about the Rings of Power, and specifically about where the world of the Middle Earth is as we come into the Rings of Power. So if you've got, this is like the raisin and the mashed potatoes, right? If you find
What?
it, you
I'm
the
sorry,
prize.
what?
No, not that. This is like this is like something that you'd want. This is like this is like the malted milk ball at the bottom of your ice cream cone.
Sure.
If you like the Rings of Power, if you like the Tolkien Legendarium, if you continue to listen to the show, at some point, we're going to talk about the Rings of Power. Mm-hmm. So keep listening for that.
Yes.
And that listening starts with the news. You want to talk about who crazy? Neil Gaiman, crazy.
Oh, yeah. I
He
know that.
is out there doing the interviews, not just as somebody who supports this work, but of course as a
Producer?
probably an executive producer, right?
Probably.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I think the money people wouldn't accept him as showrunner. So I don't think he's exactly a showrunner, but I know that he is heavily involved in this show, which is weird because it's not very good, in my opinion, but it is #1 on Netflix. And Neil Gaiman says that might not be enough to get season 2.
What would be enough, Neil Gaiman, to get season 2?
Watch it, leave it on, show it to your cats.
Subscribe to it.
Retweet, hashtag.
Yeah.
Sandman on Netflix.
Yeah, I totally retweet.
Yeah, he is urging fans to make their love of the series known if they want
TikToks
more
of it.
Sandman.
Yeah. What are fans supposed to do?
What they always do. Send bags of sand to
Oh Lord.
to Netflix.
Sand like you said, sandbag Netflix. Okay. All right.
No, that's sandbagging is something else.
I know it's something else.
Okay.
I was trying to make a joke. I guess it didn't go over very well.
I was trying to laugh. He's also talked about how, like, we've lost him. This is Hollywood Neil now, right?
Yeah.
But he was bragging about how he personally sabotaged other productions. Sandman, because you always wonder, like, why did it take so long to make Sandman into a thing? And I'm like, why did people try for so long to make a perfect comic book into a TV show? But here we are.
Yeah.
And he talked about how, like, he sort of actively tried to sabotage it when it didn't seem like it was going well. You know, I don't know, like, this isn't an example, but like Zack Snyder's like, yeah, man. I just imagine that he's always like, you know, doing curls while he's on the Zoom or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I thought that like Sandman could have a gun and, you know, he kills people.
Oh my God.
And Neil's like, right, okay. What? I can't. Oh, I'm going through a tunnel. I don't know.
You're breaking off.
Yeah. You're on your laptop. Yeah. So it's just like why would you, he's an Englishman, first of all.
Yes.
Famously reserved.
Yes.
Why would you do this? Doesn't this seem like once you want to make the house at the ocean at the end of the lane in the cemetery into something, people will be like, oh, but you're not messing with this though, right?
Yeah, right.
Why make yourself seem like an untrustworthy asshole?
Why would you say that?
Yeah.
Why would you make a big deal out of it? Why would you put that out
You're
there?
not Eric Kripke. Eric Kripke can go out there and go, yeah, they wanted me for a 6th season of Supernatural, and I told them to screw themselves.
Yeah, right.
I'm the boys.
Yeah.
It's not a movie. Wait, it is a movie. Whatever his opinion is.
Yeah.
That's not Neil. Like it took you like 30 years to get this in the door.
Yeah.
Don't piss everybody off.
Yeah.
Also, don't brag about this series.
That too.
This is the Zack Snyder of Watchmen adaptations.
It's not very
We didn't like it.
good.
We like you if you liked it, but we didn't like it.
We didn't really like it. No. Sorry. I think probably too nice to it, but yeah. No.
I wasn't nice to it.
Okay.
I gave it the business.
All right.
I went Cain on its Abel.
I watched the 2nd episode.
How was Cain and Abel?
Meh.
It doesn't. You know why it didn't work?
Why?
Because it's not an effing EC mystery comic.
Yeah.
That's what it was designed originally to be. And then
Yeah.
it evolved into a multi-racial, gender and orientation diverse exploration of like Western and some Eastern myths.
Yeah.
It's lightning in a bottle. It's not a TV show.
It's not a TV show.
No, and you're never going to get, Kane is supposed to be Vincent Price. They make many jokes about how he sounds like Vincent Price. Did Kane in the Netflix show seem or sound like Vincent Price? I don't know what Vincent Price sounds like. He sounds like this. Spiders and spooky, scary.
No, he didn't.
Okay.
He did not.
That's not, for the record, that's not my canon Vincent Price.
Okay.
I have to sort of like get a running start into it.
No, I don't think so. And I feel like it just kind of read like a kind of boring
Community theater
episode.
Production of.
Well,
What if
it
you
was
gave a
like,
community theater $100 million?
I don't remember. So it's been a while since I've read the comic, but it's basically
Not a good start.
Yeah, I know. So it's basically Dream goes to Cain and Abel.
I know what happens I know what happens.
But
Maybe the audience doesn't.
yeah.
Although they've seen it and they hate us because we don't like it.
Okay, whatever.
Get it out!
But basically, the only magic thing that's left in his world is this. Basically, it's like a dragon, goblin-like thing, and it's their pet. Goldie.
There's nothing special about Goldie, really.
No.
In the comic.
And there's nothing really special about him in this, but basically he has to take his essence in order to have more power. And
what?
He kills Goldie, essentially. What?
Is
that not what happens in the comic?
No, not at all. Goldie continues to live with Abel and, I guess, by proxy, Cain for a long time and hangs out with Eve. And then Daniel shows up. And she tells him stories, and sometimes Matthew's there, and it's a very chill.
I don't understand why they decided to do this.
I don't understand why people, and I guess I don't really talk to anybody. So if I ever talk to anybody, they'd say, you got to watch the whole thing before you judge it. No, I don't.
Yeah, I know.
Immediately, I knew that this root canal was not going to be for me.
Yeah.
And then no, wait till the drill gets 5 millimeters in. No.
Right.
No, I know what I'm in for.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to like it.
Mm-hmm.
And all I can do, I guess, since I'm not being paid to watch the entire thing and talk and write about it, is just give you my impressions of what I have watched.
Right.
And if you are a listener, then well, my likes and dislikes fit his in these certain realms. Or not, he hates it and it's fantasy, then I'm going to love it. That's possible too.
Yeah.
That's how I always used reviewers when I was growing up.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I have to watch the entire thing.
No, of course not.
Because also, I'm a
You
human
have a
being.
life.
I have
Yeah.
a life.
Yeah.
I don't want the Sandman to take my power and kill me.
It was
Justice
just
for
kinda
Goldie.
sad. And then, he gives them another dragon egg, and that's just supposed to make everything better. So, yeah. I didn't like it.
Nothing's trending on Justice for Goldie.
Oh, well, it should.
But I'm assuming that, everybody who loves the television show was unable to make it through the comic.
I'm assuming. I don't know.
Are you sure you got that right? Nobody's complaining about this online.
They kill Goldie. They do. They take his essence, and he is no longer there. He's gone.
I feel like people would be complaining about that more.
Well, it's also been out for a while now, so maybe
Wait a minute. Are you saying that people just say they like something thoughtlessly and then forget they watched it?
Possibly yes, but I'm also saying if they would have complained about it, they would have complained about it earlier on.
I'm trying to make a bigger point about criticism.
Yeah, I know.
Also about the audience.
Yeah.
Nobody is talking about how Goldie's dead.
Okay.
All right. I want the audience to know that I'm suspicious that she doesn't know what happened with Goldie, but that's okay.
No, I know
believe you.
what happened with Goldie.
I believe you.
You don't believe me, and it really irritates me.
I believe that you believe it.
I will clockwork orange your eyes and make you watch it.
She was drinking a glass of water. That's why
I will make you watch it if you don't believe me. I will make you watch it.
It's because she stopped to take a drink. It's something that broadcasters have to do from time to time. Let's talk about all the problems that are going on at HBO.
Okay.
We move from the problems in this studio to the problems in the studios in Hollywood of Warner Brothers, and how HBO, other than House of the Dragon, which was its biggest premiere ever, it had nearly 10 million U.S. viewers. God knows how many people just stole it, but 10 million on the platform or on cable. Let's talk about what's happening. So here's what's happening. You know what's happening, and I know what's happening. They're not doing good.
Yeah, HBO's not doing it.
I'm trying to think of a way to put this. So we've got the Hatchet Man.
Yep.
Warner Brothers Discovery CEO, David Zaslav. He's chopping and he's chopping. And that's not good. But after canceling all this stuff and threatening to cancel more stuff and saying behind closed doors that he, basically agrees with the idea of going woke and going broke, and why are we adding diversity to stuff? HBO is for dudes and boobs, that seems to be what a lot of people, because remember, he fired a lot of people.
Yeah.
And those people came out and said, look, the guy's, I'll just tell you what he said. He just said, we're not looking for women. It's a market we can do without. So good news on the horizon. They do know that they need to get this multi-billion-dollar comic book movie franchise back on track.
Yeah.
And Walter Hamada not getting it done.
No.
And so Walter Hamada is going to leave. They're going to restructure. And Dan Lin is the guy who is most thought to be in line for the big job at DC Films.
Okay.
He is a producer.
They don't know for sure.
No. He is a producer behind the Lego movie, Godzilla vs. Kong, and the upcoming Avatar: The Last Airbender series on Netflix.
Okay.
Let's see. So one hit, one miss, and we don't know yet. So
yeah.
I don't. My hopes aren't high, but they do know that they need somebody to take a firmer hand at the tiller here.
Yeah.
What's a tiller?
It's the till, right? Not the tiller.
A till is. I know what a till is. What's a tiller?
I don't know.
That's the thing that holds the. That's it's not the wheel of a boat, but it's like when you have a stick that it goes to the rudder. So it is.
Yeah.
You want to have a firm hand because you're steering. It's a tiller.
Okay. All right.
You learned something.
Sure.
You're still mad about Goldie.
Well, you didn't learn anything, so let's move on.
No, I was right.
Not right about Goldie. I'm right about Goldie.
I told you she was still mad about Goldie. Okay, look. I need you to forget about Goldie. I'll give you 2.5 minutes at the end of the show to talk about Goldie. So what do you think about this? Do you think that there's any hope?
I don't know.
I'm not trying to set you up to be wrong. I do want your honest opinion, but you may or may not be right or wrong, because I've got like 12 items to tell you about HBO where things are not going good. So maybe you want to just say you don't think it's going good.
I don't. Things aren't going well. I don't know if somebody new. I mean, they definitely need somebody new. Whether or not that person can right this ship, I don't know.
We're going to right this ship?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe this is the guy. It's too early for me to say whether he can do it or not. There's just so much chaotic energy and like just plain chaos over there. They don't know what's right or what's left or up or down. I mean, they're just discombobulated, and I just feel like all the news that we hear about DC,
it's all
HBO,
tax write-offs.
Yeah,
it's all tax write-offs.
It's all
They're doing
negative.
this on purpose. There's a provision like in, I guess, entertainment tax or whatever. This is like, if you don't, you pay for something, and then if you don't make profit off of it, you can like write it. It's like a business expense. You can write it off. So for them to, but that doesn't apply somehow if you put out your Batgirl movie, let's say, which cost, $80 million. If you don't make $160 million, you don't make a profit. If you make $80 million, you are covering your costs, but you also spent who knows how much, $80 million, another $80 million on marketing and whatnot. So if you can just write off $80 million, that's like you earned $80 million.
Right.
Not really, but that's how
they see it, though.
The bean counters see it. And so that's what they're doing to their kids and animated programs. They're trying to cut $3 billion out of the operating budget before the merger. And so it slashed almost 40 shows from its streaming roster, including archives of Sesame Street. It isn't just that HBO had created a new HBO Sesame Street. Boo-doo.
Right.
You son of a bitch.
Oh my God.
Get out of that can. It's that they also had like archived old children's workshop shows, and they used that as a selling point. Now it's all gone. They dropped 200 episodes from the service.
We talked about that last week. Yeah.
They've canceled, and like, again, creators are just coming out and going, ask me anything you want. I'm here to answer questions. So, like Infinity Train creators, the Summer Camp Island, all these shows. I mean, I'm too old to know what these are, but they're all just dishing on what's going on at the network.
It's not a good look, honestly.
No, a slightly good news. Apparently, the Batman show, which was being developed with Bruce Timm, a new animated series, might possibly be okay.
How?
They might not cut it because the pen, the red pen giveth, and the red pen taketh away. So we'll see.
So they might not cut it. That's not really good news. That's you just have me hanging. So this thing that you want to see, it might still happen.
Yes.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Yes. Well, I mean, they could look. It's at this point, it was canceled from release, but it's being shopped around to other platforms. Now, we live in a weird world where you could have a NBC Universal show produced that is airing on ABC, like in the broadcast days. NBC Universal didn't exist back then. My point is, a studio can make a show, and then if it doesn't have its own outlet, or for whatever reason the outlet passes on it, you can do that somewhere else. So Sony was mixed up with Universal at some time, right? Because Sony owned Community for a while, but then it went to Yahoo, but Yahoo was only distributing it. But now all the talk about the movie talks about Comcast. So apparently it's reverted or went back to Universal Comcast.
Okay.
So the show this Batman show could be on Hulu, which Warner Brothers owns a piece of, but it isn't really a Warner Brothers platform.
Right.
So we'll see. And also, they could totally reverse themselves and bring it back. Another show that is being saved from the axe is Did I Do That to the Holidays? A Steve Urkel story.
Oh, really? We don't need this. Come on. I loved Urkel when I watched Family Matters, when, it was a big deal, but we don't need this.
If I were to ever have success in any medium, it would only be, I would only want it to be a success that comes accompanied with integrity.
Yeah.
Because Wyatt Cenac is writing this thing. Now, remember when Wyatt Cenac...
Who's that?
He is... I don't know, whatever. A longtime Daily Show correspondent who then had his own series. What was it called? Wyatt Cenac is got the knack. He's doing a thing.
Okay.
He's... It was like remember we had this like run of like shows that are like the Samantha Bee show and all these shows that are like, like these progressive news shows. He had his own progressive news show.
Okay.
It seemed like he was kind of going somewhere. He had an interesting voice, not just because he's black, but because he's black. And now he's writing the Urkel special because apparently it was like, ding dong, it's time to eat, right? So, yeah.
All right.
I don't ever want to be that person.
No.
And I don't know... I don't do any of my heroes enjoy that level of integrity? I don't know.
Right.
Possibly.
I don't know either.
I would say Kate Mulgrew.
Okay.
But I would also not say Kate Mulgrew because she did Mrs. Columbo for all those years. But then again, she didn't know she was going to become.
Shade.
She didn't know she was going to become Captain Janeway.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like, her character on Orange is the New Black is totally insane. Like, it's a very unglamorous role. But I think she was like, no, this is a cool part. I want to do this. I think she gets to do what she wants to do. And maybe only captains of a starship get to do that.
Yeah.
But Wyatt Cenac, man, I feel bad. I feel real bad.
I feel bad knowing
Writing an
the story now,
Urkel
too.
Christmas special in the year 2022.
Who wants this? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be this
What are you
negative.
sorry for?
But
Who wants this?
Yeah, Family Matters was
He said, not sorrily.
Big in the 90s. It's not big now. Do kids know who Urkel is? Do kids care? And do the adults
I don't know.
to see this?
Is he like a total? Is he a legacy character? Is he in Multiverses or something?
I have no idea.
Is he fighting Shaggy?
Wow.
He might have a cartoon. I don't know.
I also feel
I don't want to know.
I also feel like doing a Christmas special is it's just sad. I feel like a lot of the time.
Sad. Speaking of DC movies and their superheroes, Fruit Basket once more got upset. Aquaman has been delayed from March 17th to December 25th.
Okay.
Ring in the new year. Ring in the Christmas bells. Whatever, the Yule time season.
Yeah.
Aquaman, as we know.
Okay.
Having fish, not having ham. And also Shazam will open in that spot instead. So Shazam was supposed to open Christmas of this year. It's moving into Aquaman's spot in March. Aquaman is moving to Christmas next year.
So they need more time on Shazam.
What's up?
They need more time on Shazam.
Okay, but remember, everything's in flux. And a couple weeks ago, we reported that Ezra Miller, I think last week we reported that Ezra Miller has reported to rehab.
Yes.
To dry out. So what does that mean? Are we reshooting something? Are we inserting somebody somewhere else? Is Batfleck out? Is Bat Keaton in?
I have no idea. There's been no talk about the Flash.
Pretend to speculate.
We're not even talking about the Flash movie though, so I don't know.
We'll talk about it right now. I got a story for that.
Okay, go for it. What's the story for that?
The story is that Ezra Miller's it's reported to rehab.
Oh, well, we speculated on this last week.
He met with the.
They met with.
Damn it! Sorry, Ezra. They met with Warner Brothers specifically to smooth things over. Mm-hmm. We heard about they made a statement saying, me sorry, and take care of this. Boy, why were they the Joker? You know what I mean? Like, it's like on screen, in real life.
I don't know.
At a meeting featuring Miller's agent, which also took place on the same day as one of those. So okay, we're going to talk about the Batgirl in a second, but the Batgirl was canceled.
Yeah.
And that was a week before this.
Yes.
But they've been showing it like at DC to like just to the employees and to the people that worked on it. And like, this is, we make these things so people can see them. So just like they were calling them their funeral screenings, like a wake. Oh my
God, that's so depressing.
Yeah.
And people are pissed because they want to actually be able to see the film. So I don't want to hear about them watching it.
Yeah. So anyway, Miller met with Michael DeLuca. Who Michael DeLuca is at Warner Brothers? I don't know.
I guess.
Longtime fans know Michael DeLuca. But anyway, I guess he's at Warner now. These people just never go away, do they?
No.
Not when you create New Line Cinema, the house that Freddie built.
Right.
And we don't know the contents of that meeting, so maybe it's not a great news story, but just, they're pledging to seek help for these mental health issues.
Okay.
And I'm just like, quit. Does it set a bad precedent if somebody who earns, what do you think they make?
I have no idea.
They're a superhero.
Millions.
They're a big superhero.
Yeah.
Let's say $20 million. I feel like that's low, but I don't. If a person who makes $20 million can be fired for mental health issues, a person who makes minimum wage can get fired for mental health issues. So I don't want to set a precedent, but also it's like the Jonah Hill thing. Get better. These are just cartoons. This does not matter. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like they have to go in and beg for their job and go, no, I'm going to be really sane this time. That isn't up to them necessarily.
It's not up to them necessarily.
No, they need to be getting treatment and doing that.
Honestly, I don't know that DC is the savvy to be doing reshoots or anything right now. I don't think that they're doing reshoots yet. I think they're probably taking Ezra at their word and they're just going to see how...
I'm not saying shooting with Ezra. I'm saying that
I know that
they release these things to have this ongoing story. Marvel ran into this with the pandemic and also with James Gunn being, what's the opposite of Me Too'd? Nazi Too'd on the internet and got fired from Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was supposed to be the start of Phase 4. So that means that they can't do that, and then a whole bunch of things fall apart. You add or remove scenes or shoot new scenes for WandaVision in order to have that tag.
I understand.
That leads, right. So what I'm saying is they have swapped Aquaman and Shazam. Now Shazam is first, and so something in Shazam is going to have to be changed or added to lead into Aquaman. I'm not saying that the Flash is going to be a part of it necessarily.
I
in
misunderstood
fact,
part of it.
maybe the Flash part, maybe he has a cameo in Aquaman and he shows up in Aquaman. But now they do need to reshoot something, and to give Ezra Miller time, they push Aquaman back and go, it actually doesn't really matter all that much, but we do need the Miller scene in Aquaman, so we're going to push that towards next year and give him time.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying is going on behind the scenes here.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I misunderstood what you're
saying.
saying.
It's also fun that a totally done movie with a capable actress and 2 directors who are like, oh, this thing's ready to go, gets canceled.
I know.
But they are killing themselves to keep this dumb Flash movie going.
I know.
Do we cover this?
Huh.
Do we cover this?
What do you mean?
What if we just said we're not going to do DC stuff?
Why wouldn't we do DC stuff?
For the same reasons that I don't do Sandman. For the same reasons. I don't want to seem like... Look, first of all, here's what I don't ever want us to be. We complain a lot. And by we, I mean, like, here's 99% of the complaining. And it's like, a picture with me on the one side. But I don't ever want us to be like, they lied to us. Oh, looks like Jessica Gauss done it again. That's just the gotcha YouTube bullshit. That these people are just so far up their own asses. I don't even know what they're complaining about anymore.
Yeah.
I have a guess when they put a black woman who's picking her nose in the thumbnail. Like, I have a guess what they're talking about. That's not what our criticism is.
All right.
That's not what we want to do. That's not what we're criticizing. We're criticizing the just kind of bad scripts and the bad writing in these movies.
Well, and the bad decision making.
But that's the next part. The bad decision making and the clear lack of any care for their employees that this thing is showing.
Yeah.
So how long do we keep enabling them by continuing to cover their stuff? Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be... I don't know why it bugs me so much, but maybe it's because he's like one of the uber screamy guys on the internet. But like the guy, the angry video game nerd guy.
Okay.
If you don't know, don't worry about it, or you can look it up. He does a video game. He was one of the early video game YouTube guys. He talked about video games. He did skits and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then he's also a movie guy. So he slowly kind of transitioned into more of a mature, I'm not going to take a poop on a video game like skits, like he's doing real movie reviews. Mm-hmm. And he released a video for 2016 Ghostbusters, and it was just him saying, I'm not going to review this film. I refuse. Okay. And like, that really bugged me because he tried to treat it like he was making some noble stand. And really what it was is he just didn't want his thing to change. And it's like, dude, give it a bad review. Go for it.
That's fine.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can do that.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop any tide. There is no tide to stop. This is what happens. I haven't checked to see if he did a review of Ghostbusters 3 or whatever it's called, Afterlife. Mm-hmm. But that just seems so petty and a journalist without integrity, shirking his duties, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be that. But at the same time, now that I know what was going on in Justice League, I wish I hadn't seen Justice League.
I understand what
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I just mailed the check to Ray Fisher.
I understand what you're saying. I just think that I feel like we can't ignore DC though. Like, and
why? Because of business? Our audience would support us if we made a moral stand, right?
I don't know.
Wow. I for one believe that our audience would support us if we made a moral stand.
Okay. I don't know. They're just a hot mess. I don't know.
They are.
I don't know how I feel about not covering them though. I feel like we lose integrity by not covering them.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying I don't like their girls now. I'm saying
No, I know
I don't
you're
like the
not.
fact that you are willing to destroy people's lives and careers to make really bad movies.
I don't like that either.
For the same reason, I don't like Lars von Trier movies.
Yeah.
His movies aren't that... I'm not saying that it'd be okay if they were great. But you hear the stories about things that happen on his sets and his disregard for like the safety and like, you know, mental well-being of his actors. And I'm like, I don't need that. When I go to the Cineplex, I don't need to feel that way.
No, right. Exactly. I understand what you're saying.
I hope Breaking the Waves wasn't tough to make, though, because that's a really great movie.
Oh, my God.
I really like Breaking the Waves.
Let us know. We'll give you that one.
Emily Watson, let us know
if that
was bad or not.
Yeah.
We can make a decision.
Okay.
Let's talk about Batgirl really fast. I don't want to spend all time on our HBO here, but here we are. The directors of Batgirl let everybody know that almost immediately they were locked out of access to the files for their film.
That's really upsetting.
So they heard, I don't know where they heard. Hopefully they were called by the studio. Maybe they just heard it on the internet that the movie was canceled. And one said to the other, I don't know, for the purpose of this, I don't know which said to which, but don't worry about it. Adil El Arbi and Bill Al-Fala, one said to the other, okay, just go on the thing and just set up your phone and just shoot the whole thing. Right? Just like play the movie and record it on your phone because we're about to lose this thing.
Yeah, right.
And he went on the server and they were all
gone. So he couldn't even do that.
Yep.
Well, I guess he needs to go to one of these funeral viewings and record it then. That's just...
Oh, this thing exists. This thing exists on an SD card somewhere.
Do you think it'll get out somewhere?
Yeah. Well, I think until, once it's completely past the point where there's no chance for it to ever, whatever. Whatever threshold that is, I don't know. They recast Batgirl or it just becomes clear it won't fit into the continuity of the whatever.
I have a question for you. Do you think that, like, if this was a male hero, that it would have gotten canceled?
Ezra Miller went to see Michael DeLuca.
Obviously
it would be. I don't know. Like, The Flash is, quote unquote, established. After all, he won that honorary Oscar. And I am talking about the Flash, Barry Allen, won that Oscar for going into the Speed Force. So clearly, somebody on the internet likes it. That person might be a robot. Yeah, but we don't know.
Right.
Those directors were interviewed about this experience, and they said, remember how Warner Brothers said, this is just movies. It's just not good. It's not good enough.
Right.
Not good enough. Well, the directors have a different story. They said, quote, the guys from Warner told us it was not a talent problem from our part or the actress or even the quality of the movie. They told us it was a strategic change. There was new management and they wanted to save some money. So they're not even, the suits aren't even hiding it. They're just saying, we're just going to cancel this one.
We're just going to cancel this one.
We're going to write off $90 million. You want to keep watching their movies, though. That's cool. We're going to do that, though. Can't wait for Shazam. I actually am kind of looking forward. I like the first Shazam.
I like the first
They're fun.
Shazam, too.
They're the only fun movies that DC makes.
I know.
Everything else is like...
dark and despair. Yeah.
No parents.
Yes.
Yeah, take that, Lego Batman.
Oh, my gosh.
You'll have to watch it someday.
I like Lego Batman. I've seen it before.
What happens in it? There's Legos.
He adopts Robin.
And he's Batman.
Yeah, and he's Batman.
You're probably right about that.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Do you know the House of Dragon has been renewed already by HBO?
Oh my gosh.
Not an unprecedented move, but a move of confidence for the show.
Yeah, it's only one episode. I mean, people have been talking about it. But
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's only one episode. But yeah, it's been really positive. I mean, a show is, your biggest debut ever. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
Let's wait this out.
Right.
Here's a show that's not getting a renewal. Resident Evil, canceled at Netflix after one season. Didn't this always just feel like contractual obligation?
Yeah, I'm not surprised this is getting canceled.
Yeah, I didn't even watch it.
No, I didn't either. So it looked bad.
Yeah, well, honestly, parts of it, like I watched the trailers, and like the effects look good, and it seemed like they had kind of an interesting story. I mean, how many times can you just go, Leon? And, I mean, I like all those characters, but, do something else. But here's the thing. Umbrella is not a main character. I don't care. No. I don't care about Umbrella's fortunes, if their stock is up or down. That's not a good way. In fact, it's always been an anti-corporate parable, right? Like it's about these people, cops. We'll give them a pass. They're new. A lot of them are new cops,
right?
New bastards, and they're fighting against like corporate greed and capitalism and zombie dogs. And so that's go for that.
Yeah,
but not this. She's the daughter of the CEO of a. I don't care.
Nobody cares.
I don't care. One more story. There's so much news. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about this.
Okay.
Matt Jackman, the director of, I think, every episode of WandaVision. He was certainly the showrunner.
Yes.
And executive producer. Was in talks. Not in talks. He was officially signed up, as far as I knew, to create and direct Star Trek IV. The fourth Star Trek film.
Yes.
In the Kelvin timeline.
Yes.
Well, not anymore, baby!
Oh, boy.
He's moving to a different four.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four.
Oh, boy. I've got mixed feelings about this because poor Star Trek 4, just for whatever reason, can't get off the ground. And it keeps getting put on the shelf. And now it has to wait again because it, again, does not have a director. That being said, Fantastic Four, horrible track record for films. So let's see if this guy can make it happen. But is this the guy? I don't know. I don't know if this is the guy or not to bring Fantastic Four to the big screen successfully.
Ant-Man.
Yeah.
No track record.
Yeah.
The Hulk. Ang Lee. Well, all the TV stuff.
Yeah, right.
Which is kind of in a different lower echelon. Ang Lee. No.
Yeah.
Right. Universal Pictures.
Yeah.
The Incredible Hulk.
It was all right.
Yeah. Right. So, bad track record. There still hasn't been a Hulk movie, but it definitely involved in all of the movies that we love in the MCU. Yeah. I don't think they can make a quote-unquote bad movie. They can make a movie that I will say I didn't like.
Sure.
And I do. But I think that their movies have a solid foundation.
Okay.
So this, I think, will have, no matter what, a solid foundation. Will it be good? Will it capture the spirit of the Fantastic Four? And really what I mean is, in doing so, will it not be like every other generic Marvel movie? They go out of their way to pick a weird hero, and then they dumb it down and make it as like Marvel
vanilla
basic as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have first of all, WandaVision would have been a great hour-long special, or like a movie. I thought it went on way too long. There were parts of it that I really did like, though.
Yeah.
And so, as far as like him being a TV director goes, let's TV the hell out of this Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
But I have a dream of them pouring all the money it needs into it, John Krasinski being nowhere near it.
Yeah.
Although if Emily Blunt wants to jump on, that's okay. And them really leaning into the wild, fantastic, to coin a phrase, side of it. They have introduced either alternate timelines or alternate universes into many of their properties recently, but without any real goal in mind.
Yeah.
It almost seems like each one of them thinks that they're inventing that like themselves.
Right.
So they're all sort of included separately, and there is no through line. Well, I'll tell you something. The Fantastic Four are Imaginauts, and they travel through alternate universes.
Sure.
And so what if once we get to the end of this phase, or maybe the next phase probably, boy, we got a lot of multiverses. Seems like we need somebody to map them. Somebody to tell us what's going on in them.
That'd be good.
They got to roll.
There you go.
In this universe.
Well, I think that's a good idea. Good place for them to start.
I mean, it's not my idea. It's just adapting the comics.
Yeah, right. I know. So that could totally work. I'm just not super excited about this guy who is, he's got a track record with Marvel, but it's like TV, not film. And it wasn't amazing TV, in my opinion. It was just okay.
What do you
TV.
want, The Sopranos?
I don't know. Yes, actually. Yes, I do.
Reed's eating some onion rings, and who's coming in through that door?
Yeah, sure.
Annihilus.
Right.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
I want things to be good. I do. I want everything to be good. I know that that's not possible.
Do you know that Matt Shackman directed an episode of Game of Thrones?
Of course he did.
I mean, that throne is like the village bicycle at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm trying to figure out what episode he directed.
Okay, that'd be good to know.
I think he did a couple. He did 2.
Okay.
The titles don't mean anything to me. Did it mean anything to you? I feel like Eastwatch is either a good one or a bad one.
I don't know.
Eastwatch rating 8.7. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
All right, maybe this guy is not so bad.
Okay.
I don't know. It's TV.
I know.
All TV. That's his whole entire resume. So can't wait.
It's just, yeah. I mean, I know Marvel takes chances on new directors, and some of them have like one film under their belt, but
now we'll see. Remember, nothing's signed. If this falls through, does he? J.J. Abrams is like, it's 11:30. Who's that at the door?
Do you think he'd go back to Star Trek?
I'm so lost with that.
Oh my God.
His little Falcon salute.
Oh my God.
As the rain comes down.
Yeah.
Can I come? It's so cold out here. It's so warm inside.
Oh my God.
Well, speaking of Game of Thrones, you thought you were free, but you'll never be free because the wheel keeps going round and round. Right? Is that Journey or is that Game of Thrones? I can't remember. The point is, the new show, Hot D, that is House of the Dragon, is out. It's a smash, and we're here to talk all about it.
That's right.
I am terrified. A little pee just came out of me, but I'm going to ask you to tell me what happens in the first episode of Hot D.
I hate doing this. I'm gonna just summarize, I guess, spoilers or I don't know.
It's just the first episode. I mean, you can't spoil anything, can you?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay.
If people haven't watched it yet.
So
basically, we're the House of Targaryen. It starts and it's a flashback, and
you're out of. We're not doing any Game of Thrones spoiler or recaps. You're out of luck if you don't know what happens in Game of Thrones.
I can't remember all the names of the people. Anyways,
don't bother.
There's a Targaryen king on the throne. He has to pick an heir because he didn't actually have an heir, and like a direct heir. And so he, instead of picking a woman to sit on the throne, which, by the way, there has never been a woman on the Iron Throne. He picks a man who is the narrator's father, and we find out that it's I don't remember her name either.
Paddy Considine becomes king.
Yeah.
He's got long white hair. And
they all have long white hair. That's the problem.
Face like a bulldog. Yeah, that really is the problem.
And Rhaenyra is her name.
Rhaenyra is the daughter.
Rhaenyra is his daughter, and we see that his wife is pregnant, and she's pregnant with...
Rhaenyra running around to re-row.
All right, Scooby. I think it's Rhaenyra.
I don't think it is. I think it's Rhaenyra or something like that.
Well, you tell me which it is. I'll just call her R for now.
It's Rhaenyra. That's what it is. It's re-row.
Oh my God.
Don't you go round and round a re-row.
Anyways, R is their only child. Her mother is pregnant again. We found out there have been several miscarriages and whatnot over the years. So he's really hoping for a male heir. And also his current heir is his brother, played by Matt Smith, who is kind of an a-hole. And he is in charge of the Knights Guard, and they just run amok and they literally disembowel people. And so, like, this big thing is happening. There's a tournament for the birth of his child, and his wife goes into labor while it's happening. I mean, do I continue?
She dies.
Yeah, she dies, and he has a son, but then the son dies too. And then he...
Get that in your reel, actress who played the queen.
Yeah, I know. And then he... his hand and his brother do not get along, is saying, your brother is a liability. I don't think he would be a very good king. I think maybe you should think about naming your daughter the next in line as your heir. And so he thinks about this for a really long time.
Also, have sex with my daughter? Let's get that rolling.
That's really weird. But then he'd be related to the king. That'd be great, right? I don't know. But then he names his daughter the heir, and we see the ceremony. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Right. Because it's the funeral.
Yeah.
But then we see the ceremony.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What'd you think?
I thought it was all right. I mean, I guess...
I refuse to watch it because it's Warner Brothers, and they... Oh, do you know what happened to those dragons while they were shooting this?
Okay.
No.
All right. No dragons were harmed during the filming of this show. But I thought it was okay. I really enjoyed Game of Thrones when it was first on, but as the story went on, the last couple of seasons, I didn't enjoy it as much. So I think this was okay. But I don't know. I'm not like hooked. I'll probably continue watching. But I thought this was decent. Some people were like, "Oh, it's so good." I didn't think it was so good. But I thought it was all right. What did you think?
I don't know why we're doing this other than it was the most watched show on HBO ever. So mark it down on the Abacus. Ding! I was wrong.
Oh.
My lack of interest in this does not reflect the world's lack of interest in this.
Okay.
Although, people can tune in for a pilot or a premiere and then not return. We'll
absolutely.
see in a couple hours whether they returned or not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we're doing this. Weren't we all sick of Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
And I don't think this is the antidote to anything. Out of all the pitches that they threw out there, the First Men show, which shot the pilot.
Yeah.
With, what's her name?
I can't think of her name.
I'm out of names today.
Yeah.
What is it? Is there a juice that you can drink that gives you the ability
juice?
to remember names? Really? I'll do it.
I don't know.
I'll be backed up all day trying to remember
gosh.
names. And all this time I've been stalling, and I still can't remember her name. And she's in
Mulholland
Drive and Twin Peaks: The Return. Naomi Watts.
Yeah.
Nothing super special about that name. Anyway, who's the princess? Is that Rhaenyra? The princess that sails the fleet to find out what's west of Westeros that Arya admires and is going to emulate at the end of the show. There's a series or a pilot in the works for that. Any of that would be more interesting than just rewinding 175 years and just doing it all over again.
Which seems
everything
like
is exact. Yeah, do a Dothraki show.
Yeah.
Do a Valyrian show. Do the fall of Valyria. Do
a show about Dorne. I don't know.
Let's have a workplace comedy with ice zombies. I don't know.
Yeah.
Dorne. Let's have Dorne. Period. Let's explain anything that happens in Dorne.
Yeah.
It's just the same show.
Here's
how much it is the same show.
Yeah.
We got a princess
who
wants her father's love, also his respect.
Yeah.
She's adventurous. Mm-hmm. So she's Arya and Bronn together.
And
she's got a
Sansa
great destiny.
A little bit, yeah.
No, she's not Sansa. Sansa is her friend, but whatever.
Yeah, you're right.
You've got hot brother who's a good fighter and a shitty dude.
Yeah.
Who will definitely become the anti-hero main character of the show later.
Yeah.
And we'll throw in a little Tyrion too and make him an outcast and give him a sex worker girlfriend.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just Jaime and Tyrion put together.
It is.
All they did was condense the cast list and just do the exact same beats.
Yeah.
You've got guy who is hand to the king, and he's
up to something.
He's up to something. He's trying to promote the chances of his children to get to the throne. He's just Tywin Lannister.
Yeah, I know.
Only he just didn't butcher a deer.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know why.
Here's a question. Mm-hmm. drawing of a horse. Gets worse as we go. How long is this going to go? Is there enough story material to go anywhere with this?
It's going to go for at least the second season.
Look, I know there's a lot of trust me, people talk about this stuff. I know there's a lot of lore in the published novels. There's also, Tolkien-esque side stories and things and collections of stories and books. So I know that there is a history that we can explore here, but we ran out of stuff with 8 seasons.
I feel like we did.
Where's this going to go?
I don't know. Also,
plus
I feel
we forgot to mention that we're not even into the main series. They're going to do a time jump at some point because we've got actors who are playing the younger version of people who we'll see later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Matt Smith, can I just say, I'm a fan of Matt Smith, but this character is really hard to watch just because he is so destructive and he just does whatever the hell he wants because he can. And I don't know. I'm okay with him playing a bad guy or, somebody who's the anti-hero or what have you, but I want to feel some maybe we'll get there eventually. It's some sort of empathy for him or just really hate him or something. I just kind of find him irritating right now.
I find him irritating in every role that he's been in.
Okay.
Post Doctor Who.
All right.
I think that Matt Smith has reached the limits of what his talent can do. And you have to do whatever it is that you do when you go to the next level, right? So Charles Dance, for instance, not in this show, certainly.
Yeah.
Get some of the people play their ancestors and it just looks
there
like
you
them.
go. I don't see why not.
He's played heavies for a long time.
Yeah.
But he probably, so maybe this is a bad pick, but he probably was in a surfing movie in the 60s or something like that. And people are like, oh, this guy, like Heath Ledger. Heath Ledger, total goofball.
Yeah.
Goofball dreamboat in stuff, cast of the Joker. People are like, what? And as an actor, he went, I take this seriously. I've always taken it seriously, but I've done mostly fluff
comedy
previously.
Yeah.
And so I want to take this seriously. Unfortunately, my life ended, and so we don't get to see me do other things seriously. But Brokeback Mountain, right before that, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a different person now. I'm leveling up. Matt
Yeah.
Smith is refusing to level up. He is plateaued. He is just doing the same thing. Now, I didn't see his Charlie Manson movie, which maybe I have to watch now. But the last couple things I've seen him in, he's just like, I'm talking like this now. It's like, dude, that was David Tennant's thing.
It was
somehow
David
Tennant has become a good actor, and you are stuck where you are. Now, I know you're a little younger than he is, but you need to make that jump now. You got to go from just British guy who's yelling at people to the next thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe this series will be where he can grow and do that. But at this point, it's just it's just him in a I was going to say bad wig. It's a strange wig. The wigs on the show are actually really great. For all 90% of the people it's medieval times anyway, but I'm just saying they're all in white wigs and they all look pretty good.
Yeah.
I guess I got so bored during the show. I was just looking at the wigs, but it's not. So here's my final thought. It's fine. At this point, we know that they can do this while they're asleep. It seems like after D&D, effed off, everybody who was probably doing a good job at the show has all moved in. So Sapochnik is in. He was a director and longtime producer of the show. George R.R. Martin has a credit. He's taking a more active hand in this. So it seems like the bad teachers are gone and the good teachers are going to run the class now. Yes. Hopefully. But all that being said, if Game of Thrones didn't exist and I just watched this and it was much like when I first watched Game of Thrones, I didn't know any of the backstory. No. They're saying all these names that I don't know. But I was kind of intrigued and I was like, kind of being drawn in. If Game of Thrones didn't exist and they were just mentioning all this stuff and just a bunch of people, it just feels like a general fantasy series. I would also say, for that reason, it's too early to call.
Yeah, I think that you're right about that.
Unlike me saying in one episode, Sandman sucks, don't watch it. I'm saying this kind of sucked, but I guess I don't know where it's going to go. But, and this is an example that I've used when we were talking off air, if Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof said, we're doing Lost Babies, it's a prequel to Lost, I'd be like, screw you, I'm not watching your show because I'm not giving you any more faith. You don't get any more I'm not giving you an inch or a mile at this point.
Right.
I kind of feel the same way about Game of Thrones, even though under new management it says below the Wendy's sign.
Right.
I don't know if it's worth my time to let you make this into anything.
I get that. Do you think that George R.R. Martin will ever finish the books?
But this is a big joke in fandom, and I don't read the books, and so I don't.
I know.
It's not funny to me. I don't know.
He's like doing this, and then he's like, I swear to God, I heard somewhere.
Yeah, and he's running D&D every Thursday. I know. Look,
and
the man has a life.
Sports blogs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know.
He like writes for like pages,
Okay, all right.
and it's like,
All
dude.
Yeah, all right. Well, what do you want? Robert Jordan punched out like 11 books and then died, and his series still wasn't complete.
I know.
So, what do you want?
I feel for the fans. That's all.
Can you imagine? It's 1975. Frodo lives is spray painted on, the tube walls in Croydon, and people are banging down. Darling, what is that? Oh, put the pipe down. They're banging on Tolkien's door. When are you going to finish the Book of Unfinished Tales?
Oh my God.
When is it going to be the Book of Finished Tales?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yes.
It's a different time, I guess. The
It is a
internet has
different
made
time.
monsters of us all. Well, let's talk about monsters. Let's talk about Tolkien. And let's flip over to a segment I like to call Lord of the Questions.
Oh, okay.
Where
we're sticking
you
this
can
in
ask
here.
me, so we're, none of this is going to matter. So none of us really know if this is going to be any good or not. But I wouldn't want to beat some sleepless nights at HBO right now for a lot of reasons. But one of them is Rings of Power going to come out and just eat our dragon's lunch?
Possibly, yes.
Possible.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll be covering that next week. But before that, where's Frodo?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Gandalf? Do they, Gandalf?
Well, Frodo's not born yet, right?
That's okay. Are you answering the questions or am I? I'm trying to prompt you to ask me some questions.
But I know that one. Okay. Where are the unicorns? Where are the werewolves? Where are the mythical creatures that we do not see?
All right. This isn't a spoiler because... Actually, I don't know if it's a spoiler. Nobody knows how they're going to do this because it's... All right, I'm going to answer the questions that you're not asking, but you're basically asking.
Okay.
And that is, it is set in the middle, essentially in the middle of the Second Age, which is about 4,000 or so years. My math is probably not right. Yeah, it's probably about 4,000 years before... it's more like 5,000 years before Lord of the Rings starts, before Bilbo's even born.
Sure.
And so what'd you ask?
I asked about
Sorry.
unicorns and werewolves.
I'm thinking about unicorns.
Yeah.
I don't think unicorns are Greek.
Yeah.
So they don't fit into,
But there's dragons.
I know they were later backfilled into the legendarium of Britain. Obviously they're important. But it's more of a Lisa Frank thing, and he's a purist, so he's like, no, there's no.
Whatever,
So anyway,
man.
so here's the deal.
Okay.
But werewolves, that's fine.
Yeah.
So when the show starts, I'm assuming when the show starts, the main storyline, Galadriel's brother, Finrod, has died, and Finrod is he's an elf, and he's known as the friend of man. Elves and men have a uneasy sort of alliance. They don't really live together. But Finrod loved men, and he liked to hang out with men. Do whatever you want with this.
I think I'm learning a lot about Finrod.
Long story short,
Yeah.
he and his friends were captured by Morgoth, the Dark Lord,
Okay.
and put into his dungeons.
Okay.
And Morgoth sent a werewolf to their cell every night, and the werewolf would kill and eat one of the
Oh my God.
people. And so
That's terrifying.
it got down to, I can't remember the guy that he was with. I can't remember the guy he was with. But it was Finrod and the other guy. And so this guy is about to eat the other guy, and Finrod jumps in and wrestles with his werewolf and kills the werewolf, but dies of his
in the process.
werewolf wounds.
Okay.
And I don't think they're gonna have a werewolf in the show. I think that's too much for a show. Werewolves in this show about dark lords, immortal elves, and eagles that can talk?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
No.
right.
So we'll see.
Okay.
We're going to stick to, the front part of the monster manual, We're not going back into the planar guide or anything like
whatever. Being like bitchy about
no gelatinous
werewolves.
cubes.
Okay. So in the Lord of the Rings, we see the ring race are the 9 kings. So they were the 9 men who had rings of power. So we know what happens to them. Galadriel is one of the elves who has the 3 rings of the elves. What happens? Who are the other ring bearers? Where are they when the Lord of the Rings starts? I'm assuming because
When it starts?
Yeah.
We're talking about the Rings of Power.
I know. I'm assuming since this is the Rings of Power, we will see them all get their rings.
Yes. Yes. We'll see how Arya's dagger goes from King Ding Dong through the hands. Yeah, right. We're going to see how everybody gets their ring.
But I want to know where the other ring bearers are in the Lord of the Rings because we don't see them. Like,
well, here's the problem.
And the other
and
elves.
this will drive number 7 will really drive the racist white supremacists on YouTube crazy. We don't know. We know the Witch King of Angmar. He's the main wraith, and he was like an evil man and a sorcerer who ruled a kingdom called Angmar.
Okay.
2 or 3 of the other ring wraiths we know their names and what they were kings of, but the rest is like not filled out. Tolkien just went, there's 9 kings. It's like, okay, but like the kingdom of like Gondor or these other kingdoms,
right?
Like, don't worry about it. In fact, they're lost to time because they are thousands of years old, and the elves don't care about men, so they didn't write this down.
Okay.
So that's how he gets out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I suppose it's very possible that the Amazon show could go, it's Oopie and Bloopy and Doopy and Scoopy, and we're going to meet all 9 of them.
Yeah.
Kind of hope it doesn't, because that's not like, I don't care about that sort of thing. It's not really like what I come for. But you're right. There are 7 plus 9 is 16. There are 16 rings.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we need to see all the rings. I don't know.
What is Sauron doing at the beginning of this story? Like, where is he? Because he creates the One Ring to rule them all.
Yeah.
What is he doing
They were
before
all
that?
Deceived.
Yeah.
Yes. He is fighting elves.
Okay.
So there is he's kind of he's in Mordor, but he's kind of moving around. He's in other places too.
Okay.
And he is carrying on the war against the elves that his Dark Lord did until his Dark Lord was kicked out of the universe. Okay. And so he is fighting elves.
Dark Lord was kicked out of the universe?
Yes.
How did that happen?
That's a question.
Yeah.
So at the end of the first age, there's the War of Wrath.
Okay.
The map that you see, when you see, it's Lord of the Rings, those are lyrics to the song, right?
Yeah.
That map where all of our adventures take place in Middle Earth is in the Third Age. Mm-hmm. And so the listeners can't see this, but here's the map. This is the map of the First Age.
Oh, it's much bigger.
All of this part is destroyed in a 42-year war between God and his angels and the devil, his werewolves, dragons, and balrogs.
Oh my God.
It's such a balls out war that it destroys half of the continent. Okay. And so at the end of this war, the angels and God, Eru Ilúvatar and his Valar, say, all right, you're out of here. And they basically just say, we're done with you. We kick you through the door of night out of the universe. And he is enslaved in chains. Okay. And so he can't hurt anything anymore. But his assistant to the regional manager, Sauron, is like, wait a minute. I'm going to do it now. I'll do it myself.
No. And so you got to get rid of that guy too.
Yes. Evil is pernicious.
Yes.
And so he is fighting a war with the elves. There is a specific war and combat called the War of Elves and Sauron. And so that's going on right now.
Is Mordor, has it always been evil? That part of the world?
See, that's interesting. It's always been a tough place. Okay. I don't think we ever really know if indigenous people like live there, because it's a big place, right? But it's always been like a hard. I've heard it described as like a hard kind of land,
Like harsh climate
to live in. Yeah, like a desert or like a
Antarctic or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, when the Dark Lord decides to squat there, then things are going to get a lot worse.
Yeah.
But before that, there was Minas Morgul was a city of Gondor.
Okay.
It was Minas Ithil.
Okay.
It was a good city.
Okay.
And so, they had Minas Arnor or Minas Tirith and Minas Morgul. Like, they were both good cities. But when Sauron made his home there, then he took it all over and it became what you see now.
Okay.
So anyway, let me just set it up for you so we have to do it next week.
Yeah.
So Sauron approaches Celebrimbor, who is one of the greatest of the elven smiths, and he is Feanor's nephew, I believe. He might be his grandson.
Okay.
These elf trees are worse than the British royal family.
Uh-huh.
And he says, hey, check it out. We can make these cool rings, and it's going to be really cool, and you guys are going to, have great power. Because the elves are always worried about... they just saw 3/4 of the continent get destroyed. Yeah. They're always worried about the land falling apart. They want things to last forever. And
well, they have long lives, so...
They have long lives, too.
Yeah.
So they have a long view. And so he's like, you can make these rings, things are going to be great. Let's make 9 for the men, we'll make 7 for the dwarves. It'd be pretty great. And so he does that, and Celebrimbor makes these rings.
Oh, boy.
And then they were all deceived. Because Sauron makes one ring that is...
Does he do it on his own?
Yes, he does. Because he is a great smith as well.
Uh-huh.
And so he makes this one ring that will amplify his power, but also puts his sort of essence into the ring. And this is all in the beginning of the movies. And so I don't know where we are in terms of that has to start pretty soon, right? Mm-hmm. Spoilers for the show, although God knows how long it'll take them to do all this, because this all takes place over the course of hundreds, in some cases thousands of years. Mm-hmm. The show is set to cover 1,500 years. Jeez. Now I have a feeling that they're going to compress that greatly.
Yeah.
Because we're already seeing, and nobody knows how it's going to play out, but we're already seeing Galadriel, what looks like a second age Galadriel, what looks like maybe a first age Galadriel, and then her mourning Finrod, which is like, I think around 1,000 second age. But then some of the later things are like in the year 3,000 second age.
Okay.
So nobody knows how they're going to take
and
care of this.
Galadriel's old too.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. She's seen a lot.
Yeah.
She's probably the most important elf in the entire Legendarium.
Okay.
For a lot of reasons.
Okay.
Which we might talk about next week.
All right. That sounds good.
So anyway, bad time with the rings. The elves, are not... The elves make... Celebrimbor makes his own rings.
Okay.
So he makes 3 rings of power for the elves.
Yeah, right.
But they're smart, and so when Sauron tries to use the ring, they go, well, everybody take off your rings. And, of course, the men and the dwarves don't get that message necessarily.
But we see Galadriel in The Lord of the Rings. She's still wearing hers.
It's a little iffy on when they cannot wear them.
Okay.
Maybe at this point, it's like, whatever, who cares?
Right.
They're not controlled. The elven rings aren't controlled by the One Ring, but they're still...
How does that work?
It's dangerous to use them. I don't know. He didn't read comic books. He didn't know you had to make all these rules.
Okay.
Tolkien. So the elves are pissed about that, and they're like, all right, that's it. We got to get this guy. And so that's what leads to the war of elves and Sauron.
Okay.
So, I don't know, we'll see. Any other questions?
So he's like a guy in like armor until his...
Sauron?
Yeah, Sauron, until his finger gets cut off with a ring, and then his essence is still in the ring, but he doesn't exist in the world.
That's a movie thing.
Okay.
I don't know. Remember, this is not...
But then he becomes Sauron's eye.
This is not a prequel to the movies. So I think that it would be very foolish of them to just go off and do their whole thing. But this is like the Watchmen TV show. Like the Watchmen TV show, which, speaking of people I'm not going to give anymore, that's your Damon Lindelof right there.
Right.
But from what I understand, it's an adaptation of... It's a sequel to the comic book and not to the Zack Snyder movie.
Right.
Even though they're both HBO.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers.
Go figure that out.
Yeah. So I think that they will have license to do what they want. The whole "he's a big eye" thing, that is a Peter Jackson. That's the guy that did
Peter
Meet
Jackson
the Feebles thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In the books, he's never really on screen. He's always talked about, and he definitely looms over everything, but he never is in a scene. But we understand that he can take physical form. Like he's
Oh, okay.
He's in a tower somewhere,
Okay.
but he can see, and sense things with his metaphorical eye. But Peter Jackson's like, yeah, his audience is a dumb. You gotta make it an eye, a big eye.
It's funny. I actually saw this recently, and I don't know how old this is, but you know how like the meme, I can't remember what it is exactly, but like it looks like somebody's copying somebody else's homework or test or whatever.
Yes.
So it was something like Sauron putting his essence into an item, and then it was like Voldemort was copying his homework.
Right.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah,
a couple of those memes for Harry Potter series.
yeah.
All right. Good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I'm
looking forward to it.
I am stupidly looking forward to this. I'm positive they'll let me down. I have already reconciled with myself that even though they're spent $500 million on it's TV. It's not going to look as good as a movie.
No.
You're just not going to get that.
No.
It's not conceived and shot like a movie.
Right.
Like I was watching Fellowship of the Ring the other day, and I was just thinking like, yes, the script is amazing. They took a 1,000-word book and got all the good stuff. Sorry, Tom Bombadil, and got it on the screen.
Yeah.
Yes, they shot it it took 2 years to make.
Yeah.
Yes, there are Kiwi people with no fingerprints because they spent all that time putting the rings together. Like I know a lot of work went into it.
Right.
But if you just watch it as a movie, the composition, the direction, the casting, the acting, the music, all of these things made this thing.
Yeah.
And lightning, she don't strike a bottle twice, and that's a saying.
Yeah.
Look at The Hobbit.
The Hobbit is not that great.
Yeah, no, didn't capture that again.
No.
And so I know that it looks a little cheap compared to the movies. I'm ready to accept all of that. Mm-hmm. You get a guy that looks like nothing like Hugo Weaving to play Elrond. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. It's fine.
Yeah, right.
Come on, though. Come on, man.
Yeah.
What else has Amazon done? Patriot. What's an Amazon show? The wrong guys, the wrong mans.
Fleabag.
Yeah, well, I think that's BBC and then just Amazon.
Yeah, okay. What else is Amazon?
Miss Maisel.
Miss Maisel. What was the fantasy show that I watched all of and you didn't? You watched like the first episode and you said no, thank you.
That's literally anything.
I can't remember what it's called. It's based on books.
Was it about a strong lady who's gonna lady it?
I want to punch you right now for what you just said.
I feel like I've seen a lot of those.
Yeah. Okay. I can't remember what it's
Medieval.
called. Huh?
Fighting. Oh, the Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time.
Yeah. That's like the Wheel of Time. Despite the Wheel of Time, I got a good feeling. Mm-hmm. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I had a bad feeling about the House of Dragon. I guess it's good.
Yeah.
We'll see. I still want to see Lord of the Jokes. And it's like, you all will laugh at me and despair, Miss Maisel. What's the Ninth Legion?
The Ninth Legion is an army, a Roman army that was fighting over in Britain.
Over there,
yeah,
no, over here.
And they were trying to conquer the Brits, who were, they were the Picts then, I guess. And they did not want any of that.
It's funny, Pict is like an appellation or like a group. Like it's really debated like as to who the Picts actually were. Mm-hmm. And we know who some of the peoples were. I think technically the peoples in the film, based on the region, would be the Brigantes.
Okay.
Who are indigenous people of Northern England and Scotland.
Sure.
But like later, Picts would become a word that was used by the Romans to describe some of these savages. So as far as like what the Picts
is it
actually
derogatory?
are, and yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Great.
Glad
that I just used it then.
Well, no. I mean, look, these people, they're long dead.
I know.
Nobody really cares. And so I'm not even sure it's used correctly in this, because I think they would have been using that in like the 3rd century or something like
okay.
that. But it gets we get what it is. You think Britannic people in England, Britain, the Isle of Britain, picks.
Okay.
Right? Spears to face
Sure.
paint, the whole thing.
Yep.
Woad.
What?
Joey Lawrence comes in and he's all blue like Braveheart. He's like,
Oh
woad.
my God. Okay. All right. Sure.
Nobody really knows what happened to the Ninth Legion, and it probably wasn't anything that happened in either Centurion or the Eagle.
Probably not, because they're made up stories, but
I want to talk really fast about the Eagle, which we did not see, and I don't think I have seen. As we were watching this, I realized I think I've seen this.
Really?
Centurion, that is.
Okay.
The Eagle is based on a book called The Eagle of the Ninth, and it is a children's book.
Interesting.
Written by famed British author Rosemary Sutcliffe.
Okay.
And it is essentially a fictional story about a young man whose father was part of the Ninth Legion. He disappears in Britain. And of course, the Legion is lost, and specifically the Eagle, the gold standard of the Legion, is lost, which is if the whole Legion's dead, that's bad. But losing this Eagle is a great dishonor, as seen in the early episodes of HBO's Rome. Yeah. And so he and like a friend or a servant of his decide to go to England and try to get
this back.
Yeah. And so the Channing Tatum movie that we didn't watch is based directly on that. This is just kind of like, what if I filed the serial numbers off of the Eagle and just went with that?
Yeah, pretty much.
This is written and directed by Neil Marshall. Say it with me. The Descent. Dog Soldiers.
Okay.
Doomsday.
Okay.
Hellboy, the new Hellboy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they get worse as we go. But anyway, he is a British writer and director. He, up until the point that he did Hellboy, did these kind of things. He does like kind of desaturated British countryside, get that lottery money to shoot in Britain. War, not necessarily period stuff. The Descent was praised because it was, a cast of women in a horror movie, in a claustrophobic sort of space. It was like a different sort of thing.
Yeah.
But this is kind of his thing.
Yeah.
I think, is like these big action set pieces and characters doing stuff.
Okay.
God dang it, here we go one last time. But what happens in this movie?
Michael Fassbender is the Centurion. And you find out why by the end of the movie, because he's, spoilers, the only one left. But basically, he, at the very beginning of the movie, he is in another Legion. He gets captured. He escapes, and the Ninth Legion finds him. And Dominic West is the general of the Ninth Legion, and he's like, "Oh, we're going to go back and fight these guys, because this is like one of the man who captured him is one of the big leaders of the Picts, and they really want to fight this guy." So they are. It's really early on in the movie, and they're walking through the forest, and they're going to fight this guy, and they get ambushed and they get surprise attacked.
It's very Mohicans-esque scene.
And they basically, the Picts kill almost all of them.
The Picts had fireballs. Did you know that?
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a third level spell. So.
Yeah. These are giant fireballs too, I should say.
Oh, okay. So they spent extended spell slot, higher slot.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And there's a lot of them. So the almost all of the Legion is killed. The general is captured. They also capture the Eagle, the standard. So there's like, I think 7, including Michael Fassbender, who are alive, and they're sneaking around, and they're going to try to get the general out.
6.
Is it just 6?
Yeah.
Oh.
The general would have made 7.
Okay. So they try to get the general out. That does not go well. The general is like, "Just get my men back," to Michael Fassbender, and he's like, "Okay." And while they're there, one of the guys we find out is not so great, and he kills the Pict leader's son, and so now the Pict leader is like got a vendetta against them, and he's gonna go after them and kill them. I should mention that there was a Pict tracker I can't remember the character's name now. Etain, who was originally seemed like she was working for the Romans, but she betrayed them. And that's a big plot point of the movie as well. And she's a really good tracker, so she's tracking them throughout all of this. And she can sense things that other people can't and all this stuff. And she has this vendetta against the Romans because they brutally attacked her family and killed a lot of her family and raped her and cut her tongue out. It's not great. And I mean, they get tracked throughout the movie. It doesn't go well. A lot of them die. And then there's like this standoff and then Michael Fassbender meets this nice witch lady in the woods.
Wait, new movie?
Yeah, it's like a new movie. But then there has to be like a standoff at the end.
3 men and a little Centurion.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's basically it.
So this is probably not what really happened.
No.
Nobody knows what really happened.
Nobody knows.
The Ninth Legion was basically like they were part of the invasion of Britain. Julius Caesar went to Britain. This is his Alexander moment, right?
Uh-huh.
This is his, there's no more lands to conquer. So we got to go do this.
Yeah, right.
And like he went there twice and like not a lot happened, but they're like, we got to go back there sometime. And then later on, I think it was Flavius was like, all right, time to expand the borders of the empire. Also, we need like the natural resources, a lot of mining and good stuff in England. So we got to take this stuff. And so he sent 4 legions there to, to get things done. And the city of York today, I think, was basically founded initially by the 9th as a Roman camp. Mm-hmm. Just later became a city. And then at one point they were sent, north. We don't know after that because we don't have reports that say they went out, they came back, they went out, they came back, they went out.
Right.
All we know is people stopped writing about them after that. So either they were all killed and so disappeared that way, or they actually, and this is like 60 years before, but that legion got in trouble because they rebelled for some reason. And soldiers might do this for a lot of reasons, like they're not getting paid enough, they don't feel like, or they're being worked too hard.
Right, not getting enough food.
Yeah, or not getting with it, farms and, things that they were promised. A lot of times they get stop-lost, back into fighting. And they were formed during the Civil War period when, this is the time of HBO's Rome,
Okay, sure.
So nobody knows what happened to them. They might have just been, you're all bad, and they disbanded it and stopped writing about them. Something that I liked is that the film kind of has it every different way in that we see them all slaughtered in a huge battle.
Yes.
But then also Michael Fassbender, and it spoils, of course, for the entire movie.
Yeah.
Michael Fassbender gets back and they're like, well, this is bad PR. we can't tell everybody that they all got wiped out. Mm-hmm. So we're also just going to not say what happened to them. And it's a propaganda thing. Yeah. It's a conspiracy to hide what happened to them.
Right.
And I thought that was like, oh, that's a cool idea.
And they were going to kill him.
And well, you got to get rid of the last witness.
Yeah, right.
And then at the end, he goes back and lives with, a British woman.
The nice
which
lady.
Is the ending of, spoilers for the ending of The Eagle and My Dad, or whatever it's called.
Oh, okay.
So they kind of got that from there.
Okay.
So there's no way that Neil Marshall didn't read that when he was growing up. It's a historical event. You can't copyright it, I suppose. Mm. And he put that Neil Marshall touch onto it. I got to say, I liked this.
Yeah.
I like this pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's got problems. We can talk about them. And I shouldn't, because I think Neil Marshall is like, he's a very capable filmmaker, and all the faint, damning praise that is. Yeah. But I do like some of his films, and this is one of them, and it has everything going against it. All of my rules. It opens over water.
Right. Uh-huh.
It's directed by Neil Marshall. It has both a voiceover and a title card.
The credits are very annoying.
The credits hang in the air.
I hated it.
Physical credits that cast shadows on the mountains. Yeah. They went the whole way with it.
Yeah.
Also, it's by cellar door entertainment, and I just hate that Donnie Darko bullshit, cellar door thing.
Yeah, I know.
So it's got everything against it.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, I thought it was a pretty good historical film. Now, I'm sure historians can come in and go, this is wrong, or that's wrong, or whatever. But
it was pretty brutal, but I'll say.
Well, yeah, but I felt like whether or not the exact years, and it is interesting that the Legion disappears from records right around that same time that Hadrian's Wall was basically being finished, and they just went, okay, forget it. You guys, in fact, they could have played it. It's boring because it's a chase movie. It's a bunch of different movies. That's kind of the problem. But there's a political aspect to it, which is, good job, soldier. It's like the end of Rambo 2. It's like, you did the mission, but we got to get rid of you because, we weren't supposed to be there.
Right.
And so we are pulling out. We are going to,
right.
We lost. This is our Vietnam. We lost
right.
Britain, but we're just going to build a wall and say, well, this is what we want to do instead. And so I like the fact that is there, although it's mostly just them running around. It's also a pretty good running around movie. I just wish that there was more. I wish it was paced. Usually we say better because of better.
Yeah.
It's unevenly paced.
Mm-hmm.
Where the first third of the movie, first act of the movie, you meet a bunch of characters who will all die.
All disappear
and
pretty
early. You'll never see them again.
Yeah.
And then the middle of the movie is just them being chased. And the last part of that is the kind of like cat and also cat games that they play with each other that probably should have been the entire middle of the movie.
Yeah.
And then the third act is like, new movie. It's Inglourious Bastards in Pictish Britain.
Yes.
And we're hiding in this lady's house.
Yeah, right.
And like, you maybe move that to the middle of the movie, and then it becomes like, we have to like, do we stay and put her in danger, or do we leave and do what we do? And I mean, like, that's all script. That's at the script stage. But all of those ideas I like.
Mm-hmm. I thought that, like, especially, I really liked the new movie part. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie, was when I can't remember the character's name. They meet Ariane. They meet Ariane, and we find out that she has been cast out supposedly for witchcraft and been given this mark on her face, but she just plays that up so soldiers and everybody else will leave her alone. And so she makes her home and the surrounding area look as witchcrafty as possible, just to ward people away, because she's just done with people's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, she's done with,
and I like that,
quote unquote, civilization.
Yeah, now, because they're done with her.
This movie's a lean 97 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
In a longer movie, you would emphasize Michael Fassbender's similar story. He's got a whole backstory where he's the son of a slave, a gladiator who won his freedom. And so then he became a centurion. That's like the biggest rise like any Romans had, except going all the way to the emperor, right?
Yeah.
And so he would have a very interesting perspective on the civilization that he comes from and the one that we're bringing to these people. Mm-hmm. So there are those parallels are there, but we got arrows to shoot, man.
I
you know what I mean? We got people to stab and heads to explode. And so the movie never really wants to totally deliver on its themes. There's a great theme in the toxic masculinity, the chauvinism of the Roman soldiers, and how they are defeated by several women, or at least by a peoples who don't seem to care who's doing what, as long as it's killing a Roman.
The Picts, I did like that aspect of the film too.
Yeah.
But besides Attain, they had several other female fighters who were with the group tracking them and were considered to be as equal to the men. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and so obviously that's like a commentary as well on like what the quote unquote civilized people want to bring out here. It's never real. We only ever see the Picts when they're trying to cut somebody's head off.
Yeah.
So if we had a scene or two of them just living normal lives until they are disrupted, it would have more of a they're reacting, they're partisans like fighting back against a force, but they are like kind of scary anyway.
I also thought that like the way the movie starts, like it didn't need to start that way. It's like, oh, you're probably wondering how I got here.
Yeah, right.
And it's like then
Luke
we go
stops
back
playing.
Right. And then we go back and see how he
we go back about
there,
10
minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why did it need to start that way?
Studio notes.
Yeah.
I wonder what got cut, because there are a lot of scenes, And I don't think every scene needs to play out to its very end, or every scene needs to be interrupted by the incoming next scene where it's like, you know how they always like have an important conversation and they manage to finish it right before the phone rings, or something explodes behind them. Aquaman is guilty of that. There are 14 scene change explosions in Aquaman. Sometimes the scenes just end and they leave you wanting a little more, but it's okay. But in a movie that's 97 minutes, it makes me feel like sometimes they just end. Like there's a moment between Flippius Dippius, the Centurion, and Ariane, where it seems like there's a little connection going on. Something's going to happen here.
It did seem like there was a connection.
Next morning. And we're like, did they do it? Or like,
right.
They just solidified their connection more.
Right.
And I'm okay with that level of ambiguity as long as it's intended ambiguity and not just, the money's running out here, we got to cut all this stuff.
Right.
And so there are a couple things kind of like that. Maybe the best embodiment, if the film has a villain, it is a shitty guy who's a Roman who's, who embodies all the worst aspects. He
turned out to be really horrible.
Right.
Like just a giant dick.
And if the movie was more about the social issues that, I mentioned before, he would have a bigger part. But since it's more just like, oh God, she's chasing us. Oh, how do we all stay alive? And that's not really important. That guy just sort of disappears and then comes back at the end for a small confrontation.
Well, and then but the thing that's weird about that is that you were asking where he went. And I was like, I don't know. We're not tracking him. And then he showed up.
Yeah.
He's like, were you talking about me? Twiddles his evil
Etain
guy mustache.
She's an excellent tracker, but she only tracked like one group of people at a time, I guess.
Yeah.
Why isn't Olga Kurylenko in everything? Like, she was awesome in this.
She was great.
And it's just kind of sad that like the best female character is like, oh, she's a rape victim with no tongue. It's like,
I know.
Wow.
I know.
This movie loves women. But I do think that it is trying to make a point about how women are treated.
Yeah.
I think that you can do that with more speaking parts for women in a movie.
I think you can too.
But she's awesome. Like she kicks ass.
She does kick ass. I wish
she should have been in 10 other movies where she's kicking ass.
I wish she had a tongue.
That would have been great.
She does kick ass. She was very good. She was very intimidating. And I was worried that because of her betrayal and because she's a woman, that she was going to die this horrible, awful, abusive death. But that didn't happen.
Right.
And I was very happy about that.
Yeah, she's not our hero, so sorry, you can't win.
So you do die.
But she gets the kind of honorable Roman death that Flippius Diaz, one of his names, he's got a couple names.
Yeah,
one of his names,
the Centurion.
That he would have wanted. Like, he just kills her, and he's like, all right, that's it. You're dead. Go to your gods.
Yeah.
And it isn't like, kill her and throw off a cliff or something like that.
Or make it really awful.
Yeah, like he's this whole time he starts off kind of like f this country, and a lot of pee in this movie. Everybody's peeing on things or off things.
Yeah.
But he's kind of like, I don't really know about this country. We don't know his backstory. He can speak their language. That's something that we never really.
Yeah.
But we get that he's had some kind of interaction. But by the end, he's still a Roman. He's still kind of, living his ideals. And then his boss is Belloc. That was Belloc from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Is like, we're going to kill this guy. He's like, all right, screw this.
Okay.
I'm going to live with the Imogen Poots. You kidding me? Yeah. Anything else? I liked how, again, maybe this is just things missing from a script that I'm guessing was longer before shooting, but I liked how things aren't explained unless they are. So you made a good observation that, when they're doing their dueling night raids, where they're like, let's go raid them, panty raid.
Yeah, right.
But then they were doing the same thing at the same time. They come back with more stuff than they had.
Yes.
And then later on, you're like, oh, they took like some of their furs because they were all freezing.
Yeah.
And there was no line about like, I took their furs because they're freezing or anything.
No.
I thought that was good.
We just saw them holding something, and then the next day they had furs on.
When they go to rescue McNulty from the camp, David Morrissey's got an extra helmet. And I'm like, why has he got so many helmets? And they come back later, and it isn't until they have to leave McNulty behind and they go to the top of the mountain, I realize, oh, that's that's the general's helmet. Like that's the helmet of command.
Yeah.
And he sort of like throws it at Fassbender and he's like, all right, well, I guess you're in charge now. So I was like, oh, they wanted to give that to him so he could lead them. I thought that was cool. Nobody explained that. That was really neat.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he was in the Pic's tent with the kid because he wanted to get the helmet. And like didn't know that the kid would be there.
What?
And
the helmet was in there?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Right.
I think so.
Well, then forget everything I said, but I still like the fact that the helmet comes out. I thought that Morrissey had brought it with him.
No, he finally comes back to them and he says, "I got the helmet," and they're like, "We couldn't free the general." Okay.
All right. I shouldn't remind you about Goldie, but this is a kind of a Goldie situation. But I believe you.
Oh my God. You're being a jerk. You're not believing me.
I'm trying to validate you.
But you're doing
I can't make myself 100% agree with you, but I'm saying, yes, that is as equally likely as what I'm saying. I think that's fair. Here's something that's fair. This is better than the Northman.
Oh, yeah.
I said it.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is better.
Yeah.
I think that its themes are subtler, but just as poignant. Mm-hmm. I think they're more applicable to, I don't want to say everything's to today, but I think the idea of like, respecting other cultures and trampling on things and expecting, the world to be, to serve you is a lot better than like, avenge your father, to be a man, your mother's a whore.
Yeah, I know.
Look out for that volcano.
Oh my God.
This is better than that.
Yeah, that was so heavy-handed, I feel like.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I know, right? This was really violent. Like there were
that's Neil Marshall.
Heads exploding and like heads clearly cut off, but like you see like the neck that it was cut off from. Just like it's a lot. It's a lot.
A lot of guys going gush too, like bashing the guy's head into a tree and then it just pops like a balloon.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's like, oh my God.
There's the coveted head cut in half move.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah.
Lose the top part of your head.
There's a lot of that.
Anything else to say? Would you recommend this?
I don't think I have anything else to say. Yes, I would recommend this.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it?
That's it.
That's assignment complete.
Yeah, I'm not going to say...
What's the grade? The grade was complete.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything else about the helmet, so I'm done.
Look, it's only a thing if you make it a thing. I would recommend this. At this point, like, you can just watch it, for free on a service. Like, I don't know if this was in the theater and I would tell you to go see it. I'm not sure if I'd tell you to spend like $12 on it, but
right.
Yeah, it is. I think it's a fun time. I think that...
What did we watch it on? We watched it on a service.
It was like Plex or something like that.
Was it Plex?
Yeah.
I think it was Plex.
I think it's on like Hulu or... it's definitely on like Showtime or one of those premium Prime channels. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the point is that, I would recommend it. And, a fun throwback to when we all went crazy for Gladiators for a while.
Oh, boy.
That's kind of gone now.
Yeah, nobody really cares.
If Scott ever gets to do this Gladiator sequel that he wants to do... We'll see.
Yeah. I really enjoyed Rome, so I was okay watching this. Yeah. But I think one reason why I liked Rome so much was the characters, too. So.
This happens in all HBO shows where, like, no, this is serious. This is really serious. But also you feel like the god of the show is an asshole.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There's a mean spirit to a lot of HBO shows.
Yeah.
So there'd be a character that's like, everything's working out for me. And then like an anvil crushes his head and we see his eyeballs pop out. And you're like, why would you do that to that character? Game of Thrones was full of that.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of the world of Sopranos, but that would happen a lot in The Sopranos. And a lot of times in Rome, a character would be like, well, I'm just a good character. Oh, I'm raped. I'm dead. All my hands are cut off. I'm dead. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
And it's just like, yes, the world was bad back then, but I just feel like somebody at Rome's like, no, more. What I like about this is, yes, there's a lot of blood, but it's not really like that. Yeah. Things happen to bad people and things happen to good people. And it's just like, that's war, man. That's war, baby.
Yeah.
Babicus.
Yeah.
That's war, Babicus. So I can truly say I don't hate the Eagles, man.
Oh my God! Wow.
Also,
that's a
the
bad
eagle,
joke.
not important at all. Like there is an eagle in this, but it's just there.
But the pigs like burn it.
They like melt it down or whatever. And they're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
They don't care at all.
No, they don't care about getting the steamer
And Michael
back.
Fassbender's like, yeah, let's just go.
Yeah.
We're not going to get that eagle back.
No.
Look, bring us an eagle.
Yeah.
An eagle of your love and affection by hanging out with us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the usual places. Find us. We're Just Enough Trope. You can also find us on our Discord where, as we record this, a real hot conversation's going on. Everybody's sharing, their cute cats and kittens. We're missing out because we're recording this dumb show.
Oh, well.
But
okay.
dive in with us. Show us a picture of your cat. Tell us if you've seen Centurion or The Eagle and what you thought about it. And if you think that HBO is ruled by a juvenile god.
Who hates everybody.
Yeah. Find us on your listening platform of choice and subscribe to the show. Give us a rating and a review. We really appreciate it. Give us 5 eagles. If you had 5 eagles, then you just have spare. So if you lose yours, you're like, no, we didn't lose it. Just peel off another eagle.
Oh my God.
Right?
Oh my God.
Why didn't they just do that?
Yeah.
They go, no, we got your eagle. No, you don't. It's right here.
No, you don't. I got it right here.
Right?
There you go.
What is like if you're gonna cheat, then cheat, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna pretend there was no 9th Legion, just go, no, I got another eagle. It's right here. He mailed it to me right before the Legion disbanded. They
See
just
all
said,
the
here
stamps?
You go. Yeah. Like I see, yeah. I got the Prime box around here somewhere. Well, it seems like a pain in the ass, so just give us 5 stars instead.
There you go.
We'll be back next week to talk about, you guessed it, the Rings of Power.
That's right.
Fingers crossed. Ringed fingers crossed.
Mm.
And until then, we're signing off. I'm your host, Caliban.
I'm your co-host, Mikan Hana.
Keep the geek fires burning.